Welcome to the Spirit of a Badass, where we celebrate stories of courage, hope, and resiliency. I am your host, Alecia Jacobson. Hello, hi, how are we? Today's episode is kind of like a snack mix that you get at Costco or wherever. Maybe you make it yourself, but like you have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you put it all together and it's like salty and sweet and you want to eat the whole bag. And that's today's episode. Also, if you are watching on YouTube, I have a doll mannequin head behind me that has blue hair. Well, I guess if you are not watching on YouTube, if you are watching on YouTube, you see her. I am learning. I have not done anything yet. That's why the head is behind me. So I remember I am going to learn to French braid by this summer, which means I have about 3.5 weeks left. And I purchased this head about a month ago. And so far, it has just been used to scare the living daylights out of everyone in this house. And we like move it. It has gone to everyone's beds, like on the pillows. So when you pull back the blankets, the head is there. It has been in the laundry room. Oh my goodness. My husband had the loudest, highest pitched scream when it was in the laundry room, but we don't know who puts it in the different places. So then you never know, the target might not be the person who put it there. Anyway, it has been in here for a couple days now because everyone is just terrified of this head. And actually when I was purchasing it, there are many different colors of hair, but the faces all are like just crazy looking. And this was the most normal face, which is why I got it. You can put like a little screw thing in it and anchor it to a table, kind of like you would like a tool in a garage. I don't know what those things are called. I just remember using it one time where you like clamp it down. So that's what it is. So that is my goal, because my little ones, well, mostly my 11-year-old wants to have her hair French braided and I don't know how to do it and she doesn't want to learn. So I'm apparently the one that has to learn. My 16-year-old had to learn because I didn't know with her. Anyway, let's jump in. A couple fun things. Well, one, I kind of want to do a little piggyback off last week's episode of saying no, because I had a meeting with my coach who is going to be on the podcast in a couple weeks. So really excited about that because she is coming to Madison to give a talk at the Dream Bank. So I'm going to have her on here, and that is June 18th. I'll actually put a link in it because she's just one of those people that you listen to her and you're like, holy fuck, like that shifted me. So I think you need to go, and then you can see me there because I'm going to be there. My husband and I will actually both be there. She's just amazing. I just love her. So I can't wait to see her there. Anyway, I had a meeting with her yesterday and I was kind of talking to her about this saying no and kind of the experience of it. And she used the word performative yes. I've talked about, saying yes so that you look a certain way, but I'd never heard it in the phrased in the way performative. And that like hit me in a spot, sort of like in a woundish spot, like it kind of like a sucker punch. I was like, shit, like I've known that I've done these yeses before. I shared about how I used to teach Sunday school and it was awful. Like just, I dreaded it every single time. I did it because I thought that was what like air quotes good people did and, all these things. And when she said performative, that was one of the things, like how many things have been performative? And then how do you sort of untangle, especially for people, like for me, it's a little tricky because I like being on this podcast. I have this love-hate relationship with social media because I really like showing up and sharing things. But then I'm like, well, why am I sharing these things? And what is the purpose of it? And I kind of, it's like, I feel like I'm walking a tightrope sometimes with that like idea of being performative. I really want to be genuine. I don't know. Anyway, she hit me with the word performative. I don't know. I just thought I wanted to add that to it because it's something that I think it just hits in a little bit different way. And truly, why the fuck would we want to give a yes to something just so that it looks a certain way to other people? Like we're going to die. And what a waste of energy. If it's not something that you really want to be doing in life, what a waste of time and energy and life. So I just wanted to share that with you because I think, especially, I know for a lot of my listeners, we are, I think they call it midlife. Sounds so weird. There was a woman I met last week who said, she was at the art class I shared about. She said that there's like 3 acts, and she was in her last act. She was probably 70 to 80, maybe. That one hit me too. And she was placed in my life for a reason, for that 90 minutes that I was with her. And yeah, so why waste our time giving yeses to things that we don't need to? Why make our children, I'm not going to tell you how to parent, but why make our children say yes to things that they don't want to? One example of this is my kids have violin at school, and it's mandatory. Part of their grade is practicing at home. It was mandatory. It wasn't a choice. They didn't get to pick. I remember getting to pick like violin or band or nothing at all. And they lose 20% of their grade if they don't practice at home. I think my older one, I don't think this is applicable to my younger one yet. And my daughter, 11, 10 at the time, asked me if I would just sign it. Like, no. Like, you can, if it's important to you, if that trade-off of 20 minutes of practice a day is important to get that A, then that is kind of a decision that you need to make. If that time in exchange for the grade is important, but I'm not just going to sign it saying that you did it. And she decided not to do it. And I was really just so proud of her for making that decision of, no, I don't want to trade 20 minutes of my day. I don't know how many days a week is it, because I didn't even look, to get a grade that quite frankly doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, this doesn't matter. And, I can teach her other things in other ways about, committing to stuff and following it through. But I, for one, I teach my kids kind of a different way about the way that they engage with school. Like, I don't put a whole lot of, as you know, I have one that does online school now. We've had so many transitions with schools that I'm like, wow, I really have no control that I thought I had over this. And they've all really found their way in a lovely way. But anyway, that was one where I was just like, she would have been performative in choosing to do that. Like, and it was a trade-off, but to like make her teacher happy, to make me happy for that grade, and it wasn't worth it. So that was kind of like a small way that I was teaching her about what's important to you, what's important for your time. Now, granted, she's on her freaking iPad, so it's not like she's doing something constructive with it or hanging out with me. She does like to hang out with me. But I don't know. We have to look at this short time that we have here and what do we want to be filling it with. This is something that my husband and I have been talking about a lot. And some of it's kind of like, oh shit, we said yes to many things that we probably shouldn't have many years ago. And now we're like trying to unravel this and do it differently, which is super fucking hard. So that kind of goes to it too. It's so much easier to say no and be a little uncomfortable up front versus give a yes and then be paying a price for it years later, that you're then like, shit, how the hell do I do this differently now? It's much more difficult to get out of something that you've committed to than just figuring it out in the beginning. So there's that. That's a little update from last week. Then, oh my gosh, I shared two episodes prior to that, how I sort of feel like I'm in this blank slate kind of space between who I was and who I'm growing into. And I'm really trying to be aware with what I fill it with and what I say yes to, who I fill it with, what I'm doing with my time. And one of the things, if you follow me on social media, I signed up for a Hyrox, which when I signed up, I truly had no idea. Well, I didn't know how long a 1K was. Why, you say, considering I run and I do all these things that I definitely should know how much a 1K is. Because my brain does this really lovely thing that it just shuts some information out. I think because it's like a protective mechanism, because I would say no to things if I had all of the information. And some things I just need to say yes to because it will be a good time. And if I have too much information, I'll be like, oh, no. I will just overthink the shit out of it. So I think that my brain does these things where I'm like, oh, yeah, that seems doable, because I watched TikToks of this Hyrox when I was sitting in volleyball, where we just wait for the games on the floor of a convention center. And I'm scrolling TikTok and up comes Hyrox. And I was like, oh, this is a little intense. It seems doable. It's all the exercises that I used to love, all smushed into a 1-minute TikTok. So I screenshotted it to my husband and I was like, I want to do this. To which he replied, I'll do it with you. And I know then that he didn't actually look to see what was involved in it because he's not doing it with me. But it's essentially you run 1K and then do an exercise, and then 1K and you do an exercise. And it's a total of 8K. But 1K seems like sweet and doable and like, oh yeah, that seems fine. I can handle that. 1K is like 0.6 miles. In my head, it was about a quarter mile. I'm thinking like running around a track. No, it's not. Anyway, I looked at the ones and I decided on Boston, which would give me the fall to train. It's on October, the weekend, like October 8th through the 11th. But signing up for this stuff, because then I'm like looking into it and like seeing, what do people say about it? Signing up for this is kind of like signing up for the most sought after camp for your children. I remember signing my daughter up for like the week-long stay away camp, and all of us moms, because they would go as a group of friends, hopefully, we would all be texting like minutes before. There'd be like a countdown and you're just sitting there hoping you can type as fast and get your like payment information. And then as soon as like you'd get the confirmation, you'd like have this like rush of like, oh, you did it. That's what this felt like. I had my computers open. I had my phone open. Anyway, I clicked it. I got right in. And then on my laptop, it was like there's 3,000 some odd people in line. So I was so grateful. Anyway, so I will be shipping off to Boston in October to do this Hyrox, and it will slowly become my new personality, kind of like the sourdough was. I get real excited about things and I love to just try it out. And I think somebody said to me, it must have been on social media. Yeah. She sent me a lovely note and she was like, thank you for trying new things. I don't think this was for the Hyrox. I think it was for something else, and sharing it with us. And that was something I hadn't really. This ties back to the performative. I hadn't really thought about that because sometimes I worry like, why am I sharing things? And so that felt really, it kind of confirmed that I was choosing the right thing in sharing, that it's not this kind of look at me. It's more of I want to share the fun. I'm going to throw some air quotes around fun, the fun things that I'm doing, because we are capable of so much. Life is short. I think trying new things that are accessible. Travel would be lovely. Travel is not, I mean, yes, I'm going to Boston, but like I adore my people who can travel to all of these places. I procreated many times and do not have that option because I must keep them alive and I must be with them. So I choose that. But there are so many other things that I can do to sort of keep things interesting and keep me. One of the other things I realized is that I need to be in community. And this is hard because I know this. And also I go through times in life where I'm like, I really isolate, and that's not good for my mental health, which I realized this kind of spring. I was like, oh, I restricted and isolated last winter too. So that was kind of an eye opener. So that's something that I'm going to be, if that's you, that would be something I usually start preparing. Well, when I worked with clients, I'm kind of preparing for that, like, what's it called? Seasonal affective disorder, where it's like seasonal depression. I start like August kind of prepping a system for them. So I'm going to have to prep my own system for not spiraling into the depths of my dark soul. I love how I say creepy shit. That's kind of true. And then I just laugh about it. Yeah, that's fun. Anyway, Hyrox, I'm super jazzed. I have reached out to a mutual kind of friend. I've never met her before, but she's friends with my friends who has raced it. And I'm going to bring her on here so we can talk about it because apparently it's really fucking hot. Like people like this shit. And I created a TikTok account, which again, love-hate relationship with social media. But I thought I'm going to track my workouts because I definitely have a different workout system than other people. Most people are very rigid with their training protocols, and I have much more accessible, I would say is a good word for it. I like to look at my life and what will fit in and how much I can reasonably do without getting injured. And that doesn't make me feel like I'm like it's a burden. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. So that's kind of my methodology in training. And the thing, when I was running today, I went out, I did a mile run, and then I did some walking lunges outside, just on the sidewalk in my neighborhood. I'm like, I didn't see any cars, and all of a sudden all these cars are there while I'm walking lunging. And then I did another mile, and I thought, oh, this is so interesting because I've trained for half marathons and marathons. I did one marathon. I have signed up for many marathons and not done them. But I was like, this works well for my brain because I'm really good at that burst of intensity. It still is going to be like an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes in duration of having high intensity. It's like wall balls, rowing, ski erg, sled push, sled pull, traveling. I call them broad jump burpees. I call them traveling burpees. So all the things that I have like this love-hate relationship with, but your heart rate is jacked up the entire time. But I don't think that I have, people say like my ADD brain or whatever, but the TikTok, if I was diagnosed by it, that would be something that I would have, because focused on things for a long time is not the greatest. But this idea of switching essentially like every 7 minutes to a different exercise, sign me fucking up. Oh, I did sign up. Look at that. Anyway, so that is what is fresh and new with me. I'm really excited about it. I think doing things like this gives us kind of that short term, maybe a goal or a focus. I know a lot of the ladies I work with love a goal that they can work towards. And you also don't have to be working towards shit. Just FYI, we are fine just as we are. I haven't worked towards a thing in a very long time, but I did want to just say that because that's also something that I have been holding lately, is being just fine without having these intense kind of goals. And this is the first intense goal I've had in a while, and I am super excited for it. I've never been to Boston, and that's someplace that my husband and I always talked about going in the fall, and we usually end up going someplace warmer. But I think this will be I'm doing it on the Thursday because it goes Thursday through Sunday. And also on my TikTok research, I found out that it is disgusting that the equipment is kind of sweaty, sloppy. I don't know what the word would be when you squish something and it's like gross, but I've heard the turf is that way and you have to do burpees down it and touch it. So I'm doing a little exposure therapy right now and just touching gross things. Mainly people, because in a lot of the workouts I do, people high five, which you all know I don't touch people, but I am high fiving. I am just doing it. And I'm like, okay, this is all right. I have hugged some people recently. So yeah, so that's a fun thing. And I thought I had one more thing that I wanted to share, but I didn't write it down, so I don't know what it is, but that's kind of what I'm currently jazzed about. My birthday is coming up next week, which that normally my husband and I would take a little trip to Chicago. But I don't think we're going to do that this year. It's like my full work week where I'm usually like in the office and I have clients most of the week. And my birthday is next week. We were going to go the following week. But this new kind of this year, it's funny because every year for me is different because, well, this sounds silly. Every year for me is different because every year my kids get older. But because I have so many kids, they're at so many different stages of which they need me. And this is not something that I've actually recognized until this last year of like, well, no wonder it's hard for me to get my footing. Like literally I'm in a different life constantly. Every year it's just always different, which I just felt like sometime there should feel like, oh, I got this. No, I got shit. I got shit. Anyway, it is college move out and finals. And I have no idea yet when my son is moving out and I need to get him. So it's like the week time or 5-day time that I would normally go. He's moving out. So then I was going to move it to the next week, but then that's my work week. So anyway, there are a couple things that were on my bingo card from, let's see, this would have been 2026. So 2025, that I didn't get done, that are local here that I think we're going to go do. Because they're things that I was really wanting to do, but life did not give us space for that. So I think we might take like some day trips and maybe one overnight, but kind of reimagine what it looks like. And then Chicago will always be there. I told maybe like a Labor Day trip or something like that. But that kind of plays into everything I'm doing right now, is how can I reimagine what I want My husband and I were just having a conversation this morning about kind of designing what we want. And, you know, I do this in my work, but designing what we want in life. And like I said, my kids have every year they grow and get older. And so the system or the plan or the thing that I thought isn't the same as the year before. And also, we change too. So it's like the things I thought I wanted maybe are not the things I want anymore. And like I said, I have completely changed in the last 3 years. So everything is different. And what does it look like to really, really like sink into designing your day and week and like year and life, and then a plan to make that all happen? Because as much as I would love to go sit on a fucking beach someplace and just make bread, you know, like in my little beach hut, right now, like I said, I got a lot of mouths, a lot of people to keep upright and doing, just having a delightful life themselves. So that is not the space that I can be in. However, how can I find delights in every day? That's what I wanted to tell you. That is the newest thing I've been doing. Look at me. I have been working really hard at finding the sort of glimmers and delights. I saw this TikTok. It's funny. I put timers on all my social media, so I'm hardly ever consuming social media at the rate that I was before. But I saw this TikTok and this woman said, I made a contract with the universe that every time I do adulting, running errands, just the shit that we don't want to do. And I'm really bad. I will put that shit off. I do not like to do it alone. My mom did some stuff with me last week. I really like to like partner, parallel, whatever they call it, but I need to do that. Anyway, she made a contract with the universe that every time she does the adulting, she gets a like delightful surprise or an unexpected opportunity. And let me tell you, I am seeing it. I had people reach out to me. I have had like, there was a dog, a little English bulldog. You know, I have an English bulldog. It was next to me. I had just finished doing adulting, driving home, and this dog has its head out the window, like smiling at me. And it made my whole day. And then the lady drove off with the dog and it's like jowls were flapping in the wind. Anyway, that was my like, I still have joy from seeing this dog. And if I wasn't paying attention to this stuff, I would not have that. I don't know how I feel about the whole, I understand the gratitude practices and I understand all this stuff, but I just feel like there is a difference between having gratitude and feeling the like physical embodied feeling of gratitude or joy or whatever. I can't even put to words what it is, but whatever that is what that dog gave me, like big time. But had I not been paying attention to it, I would not, I would have just been like, oh, it's a cute dog. But I feel it even now. And the amount of times I've talked about this dog to people about the joy that this dog brought me. And it does sound, well, we all know I'm woo woo here, but saying that I have a contract with the universe or whatever it is, but just saying like, when I go do the adulting, I will have a pleasant surprise. Like I will have an unexpected glimmer that I notice. And it's been happening. And that has been just a really joy filled, like truly not in like the weird way to say that, but it has been a really wonderful experience to have that. And just settling into this feeling of excitement and joy and looking forward to things and just being so not cautious, but it's almost like there is a filter. I described it to my husband. I think there's something in our body, maybe in our throat, that opens and closes. Like if it's open, you get acid reflux, or maybe it's in our esophagus. I don't know. But that's what I'm doing with my life. I'm not going to get acid reflux. Shit's not going to come back up. I've got a filter of what am I letting in? What is not going to, what have I like learned my lessons and is not going to happen again? And really slowing down enough to be so diligent and thoughtful and just like, I don't even know how to put language as I'm on a podcast with words. I don't know how to put language around it, but so thoughtful at what I'm currently allowing in because of the work that I have done to clean house and prep my mind and do all of these things. I'm not going to be willy-nilly with this. It's going to be so just on purpose. And that feels really good. Anyway, all right, there's your update. That was a long update. If you have anything that you want to send me on the Hyrox stuff, I would love to hear it. Kind of like when I was with bread. If you want to talk Hyrox, I'm still making my bread, just not at the rate I was. You just let me know. You send me all the things, or if there's any accounts that you know about. It's like all my feed is right now, which is delightful. And running actually feels good. I'm not really, I don't know. running, I'm not the most positive exercise person. The people who exercise with me know that I basically just bitch the whole time. And then I always show up the next day, but I really love to complain. So if you do come and find me on TikTok, my account is Hyrox Boston Training. But if you do, just know that I will be bitching the entire time with a smile, obviously, because I'm doing it. But I do like to complain about exercise a lot. So, which is weird considering that I make the people do the exercise. But I don't know. It's what I do. All right. Thank you. Thank you for showing up as always. And I will see you next week. Spirit of a Badass is a Lit Path Studios podcast and is produced by Jamie Gale and Alecia Jacobson. Music by Shane Ivers. We'll be back with another inspiring interview. Until then, keep your spirits high and your energy badass.